Maryland takes a critical step forward in the road to recovery. Starting this week, anyone can have a free coronavirus test, even if you don't have any symptoms. Maryland saw its biggest one-day spike in cases, but those key hospitalization and ICU numbers are stable, although the state's youngest victim had died from COVID complications. WJZ is live in O'Donnell Heights. Mike Hsu has more on that case and the new testing. Mike.
Good morning, Max. This time yesterday, it was thought that the teen from O'Donnell Heights had died from the coronavirus. Now it has been confirmed. A reminder that CV-19 spares no one. 15-year-old Dariana Dyson is the youngest person to die in Maryland from complications associated with COVID-19. Baltimore County says that she suffered from an inflammatory syndrome associated with the virus that's been found nationwide in other children. Dyson's aunt says it should serve as a wake-up call that young people are not immune.
Just we don't want us to have to experience this type of pain and hurt that everyone that loves her is going through. We don't want to die to go in vain. We want it to be able to reach other youth.
You did not experience fever.
There is a new major development in the availability of testing. Governor Hogan expands testing to people without symptoms. The first site will be open tomorrow at the Maryland State Fairgrounds in Timonium. No appointment or doctor's order is necessary, and they are free. Then on Friday, similar tests will be offered at Veep emission centers in Glen Burnie and Hyattsville, a change that leaders in hard-hit Prince George's County have long been pushing for.
Testing. That's been our focus since day one.
The governor also signed an executive order allowing pharmacists to order and administer tests at pharmacies statewide. And AFSCME, the union representing state employees, protested what they say is a lack of personal protective gear and testing for frontline workers.
The prisons, the hospitals, the youth facilities, to ensure the people in there that are working and the people that are residing there are safe.
Now back to Dariana. There will be a candlelight vigil here in O'Donnell Heights from 4 to 6 o'clock tonight. I'm Mike Hsu reporting live for WJZ.
The city also made a major announcement about testing. This says the city remains under a stay-at-home order until more testing is done and the numbers go down. Let's bring in Amy Kawada now. She's live at City Hall with more about the mayor's announcement. Amy.
Good morning, Max. Right now, the mayor says the average daily testing rate here in the city is not even a quarter of what the CDC recommends in order to safely reopen and relax some of those restrictions. In response, the mayor announced a new partnership that will bring thousands of tests right here to Baltimore.
The simple truth is that right now, today, we need more tests to safely reopen.
With more than 4,000 confirmed cases in the city and 202 deaths, Baltimore Mayor Jack Young put the spotlight on the need for more COVID-19 testing. At a press conference Tuesday, Mayor Young says Governor Hogan has committed over 500 COVID-19 tests per week to Baltimore. The city has also secured an additional 18,000 tests through a new partnership with lab vendor Hologic to disperse tests and analyze results in their own lab, hoping to speed up the process.
We want to expand our testing capacity to be able to test anyone who's symptomatic or anyone who's deemed appropriate for testing. That includes asymptomatic folks who maybe have had exposures or who work on the front line.
But the pressure to reopen the city is on. Some restaurant owners, like Sergio Vitali, owner of Aldo's in Little Italy, are pushing for outdoor seating while social distancing to keep business alive.
Which allows us to put tables outside, socially distanced while still respecting safety protocols.
But Mayor Young warns until the numbers start to go down, the doors stay closed. And to give you a better perspective, Mayor Young says the goal is to conduct 2,700 tests per day. Right now, they are only conducting 571. Reporting live this morning, I'm Amy Kawada for WJZ.
The race to respond to the coronavirus pandemic is becoming a race to reopen the economy. As the death numbers climb to nearly 92,000, some are preaching caution. From coast to coast, even the hardest hit states are restarting their economies and allowing more types of businesses and public spaces to reopen. Circles are now painted on the ground at this park in Brooklyn, New York. The goal is to get people to practice social distancing. Children returned to daycare centers in Texas Tuesday, but even they have to maintain a safe distance from one another. Okay, if you're still waiting on your stimulus payment from the government, keep an eye out on a debit card in the mail. The U.S. Treasury Department announced yesterday is going to start mailing some stimulus payments on debit cards. Until now, payments had been either directly deposited or sent as a paper check. About 4 million payments will be sent on a debit card. 25% of the state's restaurants will close for good after this pandemic. That's what the Maryland Restaurant Association says. They're asking lawmakers for relief made specifically for restaurants. Takeout and delivery just isn't enough to keep many spots afloat. Restaurants will also need to retrain employees and manage capacity limits once they're allowed to reopen their dining rooms. Of course, WJZ is everything you need to know about the pandemic. Just go to WJZ.com and look under top stories for a list of resources. Plus, the most important links and numbers are under quick links.